Jimmy Dean, good morning to you.
How are you? That's a very funny commercial.
Which one was that?
That Barney's commercial there. Do you know what my dog's name is? Barney, you're right.
You know, that's interesting. You mentioned the dog right off the bat because I saw a Muppet special not long ago, the anniversary of the Muppets.
Oh, really?
And I didn't realize that Rolf, the dog, got his start on your show.
Oh, yeah, the Muppets got started on our show.
That was a good many years ago.
A lot of years ago, indeed.
Yeah, that was a...
That's when I was young. If I ever was.
You know, I interviewed Roy Clark because he was in our town a couple of months ago.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, he mentioned your name right off the bat and just had so many nice things to say about you that I thought it's high time we visited again.
Well, Roy Clark and I don't like each other. We love each other a lot. He used to work for me for a long time. I finally fired him, and he probably told you that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't say that.
Well, he's blabbed it all over. I wouldn't have said anything, but we both still the best of friends, but he had a problem. He couldn't get anywhere on time, and I can't be anywhere late. And that just does not mix. So I told him when I fired him, I said, you're the most talented cuss I ever let go, I'll tell you that, but you're going to be on time if you work for me.
Well, I think it shaped the boy up because he seems to be on time for all his concerts and things now.
He's a wonderful human being. He really is a nice man.
That was in the Washington, D.C. area where you guys worked together, right?
It's very true. We were on WARL in Arlington, and then we went over to the old early morning show on CBS there, and we worked local TV and radio and so on and so forth forever in Washington, D.C. And I'm grateful to our nation's capital for having started the whole mess for me.
You're a Texas boy.
Yeah, that's where I'm calling you from now.
That's right.
Right here in corporate headquarters for the Jimmy Dean Meat Company.
You have a business philosophy, and it's a good one. It could apply to almost anything you take on in life.
What's that?
Well, just treat people right.
Well, you know, people tell me that, I don't know if there's any such thing as ethical business practices. And I assure you that if you do business with the Jimmy Dean Meat Company, it's ethical. It's all on top of the table. We do what we say we're going to do, when we say we're going to do it, and we try to do it a little better than we said we were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is functional, and anybody that tells you that it does not work is a liar.
Okay. I won't argue.
There's so many people, that they got so much talent, and they're so gifted, and they try to cut corners, and they do little cutesy pie things, and it'll catch up with you. Just stay in there and do it honest and fair and square, and you may get clobbered a couple of times by some guy that is a little bit crooked or a little bit shyster type, but you'll outlast him and outdo him. It's happened to me half a dozen times or more.
I've heard that said on the local level, and I guess it applies to the national level as well, which is what your business is all about.
Well, we've got a relationship with meat buyers and distributors and brokers you wouldn't believe. There's a business thing there, but there's also a great camaraderie and a great friendship thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have fun with each other. You can do business and have a ball.
Yeah.
We giggle and laugh and scratch, and we don't do it all right, but we have a whole hell of a lot of fun, I'll tell you that.
Which do you like better, or is it, if Jimmy Dean had it to do all over again, I imagine you'd do it pretty much the same. You were a hellraiser when you were a youngster, weren't you?
I was wild in a can of crowd, I guess. I don't, what do I like the best? Well, the other night it was kind of funny. I was at the FMI, the Food Marketing Institute in Chicago, big thing, and the Oak Ridge were entertaining
the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah, and my daughter was there, and she's with Chuck Full of Nuts out of New York, and so.
Oh, you're not describing her physical condition. You're talking about. You're talking about the company.
Beautiful lady. And the Oak Ridge Boys were my backup group for about 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know that either, did you?
No.
Well, anyhow, we went out to see them, and they asked me to get up and do Big John, and they still remembered it, or they had rehearsed it in the dressing room or something. And we did Big Bad John, and just like an instant standing ovation. And I don't think my daughter has ever been prouder of her daddy than she was then. And it was just great fun. But that standing ovation, in answer to your question, there will never be anything like live performances.
Do you have time? I know I want to keep you the whole half hour if we possibly can, but I know you're very, very busy, so if you have to pull away, you go ahead and do that. I'd like to play one of these records. Maybe I'll just save that till after we let you go.
What?
The Big Bad John, but
You don't have to play that sucker. You don't have to play anything.
It's on the turntable right now. We could play it, but...
You don't have to do it. Just play it after we finish up.
All right, and I have that other thing, too, because Mother's Day is rolling around here. So...
Isn't that something?
Yeah. But no, right, I've heard that you were kind of a wild guy and even just partied way on into the wee hours of the morning when you were playing Las Vegas. So this whole business of chock full of nuts or a little nutty, I don't know if that... You're just...
You know, I really, people, when they're talking about me, they're letting somebody else rest. But in Vegas, I didn't party way on into the wee hours. I might have a couple of times. But we had a little, almost like a ritual, that we would finish the last show, have a little bite to eat, and go to bed and be on the first tee at 10 o'clock in the morning. And you can't tee off at 10 o'clock in the morning if you party all night.
Now, it's probably the guy that's telling the story who was still in bed at the early hours of the morning, saying, I don't know how Dean does it, because he was up late, and then he was out playing golf. You started playing the accordion as a youngster, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I don't know why. I do know why. I saw one in Mary L. Spence's music store, and I thought it was the prettiest thing I ever looked at with that mother of pearl, and that's how the whole thing started.
Gosh, you went to audition. You did some radio work.
Yeah, I did.
Made big money in radio.
I did radio in Washington and in Virginia, and then auditioned for the early morning show on CBS and lucked out there, thanks to the ignorance of the CBS officials who didn't know me from Eddie Arnold, and we wound up with it.
You made country music popular through, all of the country before, as Barbara Mandrell says now, before country was cool. I played. I got it.
I wish that's one of the disappointing things to me, that everybody seems to have forgotten the effort and the fight that I put up for country music in New York when it was a tough fight. I mean, it's not a fight anymore. It's accepted and it's palatable, and nobody tries to make it something that it isn't. And it kind of disappoints me that everybody has forgotten the battles that I fought in New York City, and I was all by myself, and the executives there didn't understand country.
Well, they didn't when Hee Haw was on either, and of course they were proven wrong.
Oh yeah,
that's still popular. I have to tell you this, though. This is a compliment. I hope it comes out as a compliment. I can be entertained by any number of folks. There are folks I really go crazy over, and there are songs I listen to that I really like. But then there are those super special songs, and they maybe didn't sell as well as some of these great big million sellers. And you've certainly had your share, too. The Big Bad John thing. So, 5 million, something like that?
Over 5 million now. I don't know what it is, really.
But I have to tell you this. I played The Little Black Book just after the news on the half hour at 9:30. And I defy anybody to listen to that and not start moving your foot or not start swinging to the music.
You know what that thing is? It was a big record, and not too many people know about it, but do you know what made it big? Square dance clubs.
Oh, it's just great to move to.
A square dance club in the country that doesn't have Little Black Book.
Yeah.
That was funny how I wrote that thing.
You're a raconteur, so tell us about it.
I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Columbia Records had a new rep there, and it was a new territory, and we had been around together and visited the stations and so on and so forth, and I was getting ready to get on the plane and leave, and I said, well, Jim, how do you think it's going to go? And he had all his accounts in his book, that black book. And he pulled that out of his pocket, and he said, well, with a little bit of luck, my little black book. And I just liked the way it rolled off his tongue.
Yeah.
And that's how Little Black Book came to be.
It does. It's just so smooth, and it gets you moving. You can't listen to it and not move.
If I'm not mistaken, that is the first record that Charlie McCoy played harmonica on.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a goodie. It's 10:15 in the morning. We're talking with Jimmy Dean. Would you care to take a phone call or two?
I'd love to.
I bet you we have some people that would love to talk to you.
Well, I'd rather talk to them than you because you're ugly. And when you get old, you're really going to be ugly.
Yeah. Thanks, friend. It's Carson's May store-wide sale. Great values on every floor, every store. Save 25% on select Chow separates, 25% off the entire stock of Jockey for Her. Select men's Famous Maker fitted dress shirts, 25% off. Farrah belted duck slacks for men, now $19.99. And save on Diane von Furstenberg and Lady Arrow collar tops, just $10.99. Hurry in for great savings now through Sunday at Carson Peary Scott.
Carson's is for me, all of me.
Tarvin's Manufactured Homes proudly announces the grand opening of their new RV and mobile home parts department. Today through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day, you can register for great prizes and treat your family to a hot dog and Pepsi for just $1. Tarvin's Manufactured Homes is offering super grand opening specials on roof coating, RV and mobile home air conditioners, awnings, skirting, and other items. Join the celebration and savings today through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Tarvin's Manufactured Homes, south on Route 51, 1 mile past I-74. Phone 827-0371. Mitchell's Meats puts the in your cookouts with a large selection of steaks. Save on Longhorn cheese at $1.49 a pound and find more specials at Mitchell's Meats, corner of Linden and Walnut. They may even have some Jimmy Dean sausage there, too.
They better.
You do sell more sausage than anybody else in the country, don't you?
Number one seller of breakfast sausage in the United States.
Yeah. I've just been given this note. You know, we've heard about Joan Rivers now. Are you going to be hosting The Tonight Show?
I don't think so. Johnny got a little ticked off at me one time when I hosted it when he got his back up about something. They called me and asked me to host it for a week, and I did, and I think he got a little upset about it. I don't care.
You're great on there. In fact, you're just good in almost any format. I think it's terrific.
Well, I have a lot of fun out of life.
Yeah. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean. Good morning.
Hi. I was calling about the IOU song with Mother's Day coming up.
Yeah. I was just telling Jimmy we ought to be talking about that because it's this weekend.
I'll never be able to do that again live because I lost my lady. I say never, maybe sometime. Oh, down the road a few years maybe, but at present I couldn't do it. I could never get through it. But it's kind of an interesting story about that. A fellow named Larry Marks and I wrote it. And it was years ago, and when we were on CBS in the daytime, and we wrote it for Mother's Day. And I did it on the air and got a tremendous response, mail-wise. And I went to Mitch Miller, who was A&R with Columbia at the time, and I said, Mitch, I really think we ought to record this thing. And he said, no, it's too corny and too schmaltzy, and it's too long. Forget it. So I put it in a file cabinet, and it stayed there for 20 years. And I took it out and went down to Nashville one time and recorded it and sold 1 million records in 3 weeks.
That was back in, 76, I think.
Something like that. But that'll tell you how smart Mitch Miller was.
Sir, thanks for calling.
That's tremendous. Thank you.
Good morning. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean.
Hi, Jimmy Dean.
Hello, sweetheart.
How you doing?
Listen, if I was any better, I'd have to be twins. One man couldn't take it all.
Oh, I love watching you on Nashville now. I wish you'd get on there more often.
A lot of fun there. I wish I could go down there and do it more often. And the nice thing is that Ralph Emery says, listen, you don't have to, if you're just in town, just come by. You don't have to be booked or anything. You're on. Just come by.
Well, we always have such a good time watching you when you're on there. I know you have a good time being there.
I still have to, I have to work for a living.
Sure you do. What I called for was what Ken just touched on just a minute ago, the Carson Show or the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Weren't your ratings better than they had ever been up to that point when you did that?
The highest rating that had there.
That's right. I wonder what it compares with Joan Rivers. She's boasting now, about I can't stand her myself, but I just wonder what your ratings were compared to her.
She's not one of my favorite performers either. However, she told me one time, she said, I will love you for the rest of my life. And I said, for why? And she said, well, when you were commuting in to do that old show on CBS, said, I was commuting out of New Rochelle, and said, I came on the commuter train that you were riding in on, and you didn't know that that men just didn't stand up and give ladies their seat, and you stood up and gave me your seat, and everybody in that train looked at you like you were nuts.
That's country, huh?
And she said, but I will never, ever forget it. And she said, I think, well, there's one gentleman left in the world. And so she has never forgotten till this day that I got up and gave her the seat.
Well, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
And it's I really do miss seeing you more. I know you don't really have to work anymore, but
I'm off due to illness.
Pardon me?
I'm off television due to illness.
Yeah.
ABC got sick of me.
Oh, no, you got sick of it, more likely. Anyway, I enjoyed the old show with Ralph. I knew that those characters were going to go far. That was one of the funniest bits you had on your show, and I did enjoy it. And I'll let someone else get on.
The kind words that you said, but I want you to know this. Thanks to people like you, my life today is the best it has ever been, physically, mentally, financially, every way in the world, and I thank you for that.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Well, that's nice. Do you maintain friendships? I take it you do talk to Roy Clark occasionally, and maybe Jim Henson and people like that?
Roy and I have an agreement that, because we were talking one time, and I said, you know what, it is a shame what we're doing. I said, as much as we love each other and we don't call and so on, he said, well, you know, Jimmy, I know you're so busy, and I don't want to bother. I said, you know what, that's why I don't call you. And we both decided that is just damn ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So now then we'll just call up and just say, hey, I just called because I love you, and I'm not going to take much of your time, and I know you're busy or you're sleepy or whatever. And then we'll sit there and talk for an hour and a half. So he's good people.
Yeah. Now let me ask you about Jim Henson. I don't mean to direct it there, but I mean you obviously worked with him when you worked with Rolf, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, we found him in Washington. They were doing Wilkins coffee commercials there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's not a country boy at all.
No. He really marches to his own drummer. He's out there. He's got his own little cloud. He floats around out there on that. He's a very creative fella.
Yeah, it's a very great addition to the show, though.
Oh, yeah.
You're on the air with Jimmy Dean. Go ahead.
Hello, Jimmy.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm sitting in a rocking chair. What are you doing? Hey, listen, I tell you why I called. A lot of people may not know this. Didn't you used to star on the old Daniel Boone or Davy Crockett, one or the other with Fess Parker?
3 years straight.
Yeah.
On that show.
Yeah, I thought so. That's been, 20 years or longer?
With the nicest man that God ever put breath in.
Yeah,
Fess Parker, they don't
say what?
any nicer.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. And I remember the one time you shot the musket and hit the beehive.
Yeah.
And that was, you always did have a fine character.
I had a fun time on that show because the crew, for some reason, they were always so tickled to see me come because it was Get Dean. After another. I remember one time I was supposed to pick up some suitcases and carry them into this old hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And they were old, authentic type suitcases. And the dang crew had put 100 pounds of weight in each one of them. And I reached down to pick them up, and both handles of both suitcases came off in my hand. And I just walked on in with the handles, didn't crack a smile, and the crew was rolling on the floor.
Well, one more question about your movie career. How did you have to land the role in that James Bond movie?
I was...
This guy knows you. This guy...
In Vegas, doing my show there, and the guys, let's see, Broccoli and what is the other guy's name, came to see the show. And both of them sat there and said, that's the guy that's going to play the Howard Hughes character.
Huh.
And they came back and talked to me, and I was quite flattered. And that picture did more for my golf game than anything I've ever done, because Sean Connery is just one hell of a golfer. And he used to keep a net behind the set whenever we were shooting, and we'd finish a scene and go back and work on our irons. And he's a good teacher, too, so it really helped my golf game. Didn't do much for my career, but it helped my golf game a lot.
Sir, thank you for calling.
You bet.
What was the name of that James Bond picture? It was called...
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever, yeah. Boy, he was on a couple of things that I'd forgotten about.
You nearly caught me off the face. I had to... What's the name of that picture now?
I'll tell you, one of the best Western films ever made, as far as I'm concerned, is Destry Rides Again, and you played Summer Stock in that show, didn't you?
That was Monique Van Voorn.
That's, in fact, where you got the idea for...
Terribly undisciplined company in the world. We laughed when we were not supposed to laugh, and guns didn't go off when they were supposed... It was a hysterical company, and the stage manager went crazy. Well, he died of a heart attack a few years later. We might have contributed to it.
But anyway, that's where the idea for Big John came about, right?
Yeah. Guy in there named John Minto. He was 6'5", and I used to call him Big John.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sounded powerful, and I put him in a mine and killed him.
I'll be darned. Let's see.
Wrote that song in an hour and a half on a plane going to Nashville.
Does Operation Entertainment ever ring a bell with you at all?
Yeah, we did that. We sure did that. You know who produced that thing?
See, I have a book here. I could probably...
The same guy that does that...
Chuck Behrens.
Talent show that...
Gong Show.
Huh?
The Gong Show.
Yeah.
Chuck Behrens.
Yeah, he's the same guy. He produced that.
Yeah. Yeah, you were one of the hosts on that thing, weren't you?
Yeah, he used to do that.
That's another one some people may have forgot about.
I've been fired from all the networks. The more I think about it.
Just shows they have no taste whatsoever.
Maybe they have excellent taste. I don't know.
Yeah. Let me take another call here. You're on the air with Jimmy Dean.
Now, is he going to play the song or sing the song, Mom, I Owe You?
I'm going to play that next half hour.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to, while we had him on the line, I didn't want to take his time just to play records he's already heard, so.
I wonder if they have that in the stores.
You know, it's a good question. That's on...
They do. I think the radio station's the only one. Something happened to that crony little company,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's in the stores.
You know, just in defense of Mitch Miller, Mitch Miller is quite knowledgeable when it comes to music. As you said, he was one of the big honchos. He came up with those little golden records when I was a kid. I listened to those all the time.
Yeah.
But honestly, this again is a compliment to you indirectly. When he said, I don't think you can do it, I think it's going to be too hokey. I think if anybody else would have tried it, it would have come off hokey. But the sincerity in your voice, the sincerity in your attitude toward it, sold it.
You know, and that thing was a hit in Australia, and a lot of places. And the thing that I thought nobody ever said, but my mother, I found out everybody said, was that line in there that says, "Be sure that your underwear is clean in case you're in an accident."
Yes.
You know, all in the world that was, Ken, that was just family pride.
Yeah.
You know, we're clean people, and you just, you know.
But it sort of gives a little chuckle in all that seriousness.
It is very true. She used to say that.
Yeah.
I asked this guy in Australia, I said, I wonder if anybody... Oh, he said, goodness, yes. My mother said that all the time.
Hey, that's a great accent. Jimmy Dean, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed talking with you again. And, you know, if you care to do this from time to time, I certainly would like to talk to you before 5 years roll around again.
You know, I always enjoy talking to good on-the-air personalities, and Ken, you fall in that category, but I must tell you in all honesty that I do enjoy talking to the people even more.
Yeah.
That's just great fun for me. Well, I like people, and why shouldn't I? They've fed me very well for a long, long time.
You want to handle one more call before we let you go?
Sure.
You're on the air with Jimmy Dean.
Good morning.
Hello, Sugar.
How are you?
Listen, I'm just dandy, and you?
I have a question. When you were doing the Midwest rodeo circuit, do you remember very many of the gentlemen that used to rodeo with you?
Hon, I remember them, I don't know. I liked them a lot, and I had a distinction that I was very proud of, that the rodeo people, there were only two performers that they came out behind the chutes to watch, and one was me and one was Rex Allen, and I was flattered at that.
My dad was one of them.
Well, what was his name?
Paul Willoughby?
Hon, I remember that name so well, but to hook a face onto it, I can't, but I've heard that rodeo announcer say that name a lot of times.
Now, him and Tim Bear used to run the circuit together.
Yeah.
And you and Rex Allen and Ken Curtis used to run it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Ken Curtis is dandy, isn't he?
Oh, he's great.
Few people realize what a very, very good singer Ken Curtis is, and I'll tell you, one of the nicest people around. Rex Allen is still he's got the best talking voice in the world.
Yeah, boy, he did those Disney films, right?
Well, yeah, weren't they good?
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, Rex still waves at Dad whenever he sees them when they're out and stuff. He'll go over and say hi to him and stuff. He still remembers Dad.
Well, it's good to talk to you, hon.
Thank you.
All righty.
Bye.
I lied. One more phone call?
Okay.
You're on the air with Jimmy Dean.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hello, sweetheart.
How are you these days?
Listen, just dandy. You.
That is good. Like red carpet?
The what?
Red carpet?
Red carpet?
Uh-huh.
What is that? I don't know what you're talking about.
Red carpet for your floors.
Where is that? I'm lost.
It's under your feet, evidently.
No.
Did you ever say anything about red carpeting?
Yes.
Not that I know of.
Yes.
Where?
He used to do tours through Tennessee with the square dance group, and you called a square dance, and I danced with you many of a night.
No. You got me mixed up with somebody else. I couldn't call a square dance.
I know you did, Jimmy.
Well, if you say so, but I didn't. I sure didn't.
In Rogersville, Tennessee.
Are you calling this lady a liar?
No. I think she has me mixed up
he's
with
too nice
somebody
a
else. I
person to
wouldn't
do
call
that.
anybody a liar. And I'm sure she believes that I did, but I didn't.
Okay. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bless her heart.
It's 10:31. You have to do some TV commercials this morning?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. I'm looking at this weather in Dallas, and we're supposed to, it's an outdoor shot, and it looks like it's going to rain any minute. I think they're going to call these things off any minute, so I don't know.
Jimmy, I'll let you say one last word, maybe to moms, because Mother's Day's rolling around or whatever you like as a farewell. But
I don't want to say anything to moms. I want to say things to people with moms. Be nice, not only on Mother's Day, but every day of the week, because I assure you that when they're gone, you'll realize, I don't care how well you did, that you didn't do it well enough. I did. And I think about it every day, the little things that I could have done that I didn't do, and the phone calls that I should have made that I didn't, and the letters I should have written. So they're awful nice folks, and treat them good.
Mm-hmm. Your mom did get to hear that recording that you made, didn't
Yeah, I sent her the first one.
Yeah.
And the first one that came off the press, and she had forgotten how to operate the 45 RPM of her phonograph, and she had to call somebody over to teach her how to operate it. Disaster. So.
Well, that's a great tribute, and I'm glad that that you did that for her and all the moms.
Ken, be good. Nice to chat with you.
Same here.
All the best.
You too.
And remind people to buy Jimmy Dean sausage.
Will do her.
Or I will look you up, Ken, and kill you. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Jimmy Dean.
They're coming. They're coming to raise your spirits this summer. Ghostbusters on HBO's Summer Celebration.
The news is presented by Mike James Used Cars. Alan Sender, WJBC News.
I want to get around to that recording we were talking about Mom in just a minute.
Hi, this is Jerry Mathers, the Beaver, and you're in tune to the Ken Behrens Show.
Most people look through their wallets or their pocketbooks, and way down at the bottom, past the credit cards and baby pictures and so on, you usually find a little old piece of dog-eared poetry. I was cleaning out my wallet the other day, and I ran across a whole bunch of IOUs, some of them 35 years overdue. And you know the funny thing? All these IOUs are owed to one person, and I kind of felt like that maybe now would be a pretty good time for an accounting. Mom, I sure hope you're listening. Sweet lady, I owe you for so many things. A lot of services. Like night watchman, for instance. Lying awake nights listening for coughs and cries and creaking floorboards. And me coming in too late. Boy, you had the eye of an eagle and the roar of a lion, but you always had a heart as big as a house. I owe you for services like short order cook, chef, baker. For making sirloin out of hamburger and turkey out of tuna fish, and big old strapping boys out of leftovers. I owe you for cleaning services, the daily scrub face and ears, all work done by hand, and for the frequent dusting of a small boy's pants to try to make sure that he led a spotless life, and for washing and ironing that no laundry could ever do. for drying the tears of childhood and ironing out the problems of growing up. I owe you for services as a bodyguard, for protecting me from the terrors of thunderstorms and nightmares. Too many green apples. And Lord knows I owe you for medical attention, for nursing me through measles, mumps, bruises, bumps, splinters, and spring fever. Oh, let's not forget medical advice. Important things like, if you keep on scratching that, it'll never get well, or if you cross your eyes, they're going to stick like that. And probably the most important advice of them all, boy, you be sure you got on clean underwear in case you're in an accident. And I owe you for veterinarian services, for feeding every lost dog that I dragged home at the end of the rope, and for healing the pains of puppy love. And I owe you for entertainment that kept the household going during some pretty rough times, and for wonderful productions at Christmas, 4th of July, birthdays, and for making make-believe come true. And you did it all on such a limited budget. I owe you for construction work, for building kites and confidence, hopes and dreams, and somehow you made them all touch the sky. And for cementing together a family so it would stand the worst kinds of shocks and blows, and for laying down a good, strong foundation to build a life on. I owe you for carrying charges, for carrying me on your books, for the necessities of life that a growing boy somehow, they just gotta have. Things like a pair of high-top boots with a little pocket on the side for a jackknife. And one thing, Mom, I'll never forget. When there were 2 pieces of pie and 3 hungry people, you were always the one that decided, well, I'm not really that hungry anyhow. These are just a few of the things for which payment is long overdue. The person that I owe them to worked very, very cheap. She managed by simply doing without a whole lot of things that she needed herself. My IOUs add up to more than I could ever hope to repay. But you know the nicest thing about it all? That I know that she had marked the entire bill paid in full for just 1 kiss and 4 little words. Mom, I love you.